I was a little wondering what it was going to be about when I saw the first slide about bath products. But fortunately, it really wasn't about bath products. It was about the role of a Special Forces operations team. And what you told us about Special Forces teams can apply to anything. It can apply to bath products, it can apply to home repairs, it can apply to IT, it can apply to actual warfare. So I found the speech very, very useful in that respect. It might be interesting to actually see how those ideas do cross disciplines. Your use of visuals was excellent. The cell phone in the head while you were doing the conversation pantomime was highly illustrative. I would suggest that when you do that kind of a simulation, you think a little bit more about the timing, because it sounded like you were talking over your boss rather than being berated by him. I also strongly recommend to, and I've made this recommendation in previous evaluations, if you are going to use visuals driven off a laptop, please use a remote. Because if you don't have a remote, you have to constantly do this with your body, like one of those little dipping birds that used to be a common toy. Don't do that. It's very, very distracting. So if you're going to do visuals, do it in such a way that your body is not tied to your visuals. That'll let you get out of the way of the visuals. It lets you continue to use your body to enhance your speech in a way that having to constantly go touch your laptop strongly interferes with. You gave 4 criteria for reports. They were relevance, understandable, actionable, and assignable. 3 of those were adjectives. 1 of them was a noun. I think you wanted relevant, not relevance. Make sure your things agree in a list. I also ask that you pause just a bit between major sections of your speech. Give us 2 to 5 seconds for the section that you're completing to sink in before you ask us to pivot to another subject. I was puzzled by the word Overwatch. I had not heard that word before except in the context of a video game. So, while you were speaking, I looked it up. Overwatch is an archaic word which means to exhaust by keeping awake.
Yes,
I think you were looking for oversight. English is very, very annoying in that respect. We look over something so that we don't overlook something so while we're overseeing it. So you really, really have to watch those words and make sure that you're using the actual word you intend to use. Absolutely, though, my favorite part of the speech was the visuals. It is the best use of visuals I've ever seen.
Wow.
There was very little animation, but the animation that you had was spot on and drove your point home incredibly strongly. And unlike most people who use visuals, you never did this. You never looked at your visuals. You continued to deliver your speech and let your very simple visuals, which were mercifully free of text, enhance your speech. High text slides tend to produce people who are reading instead of listening to you. So that, I believe, was an extremely good choice. Visuals were very strong. Mr. General, that